Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with Rwandair today. Rwandair, the safest airline in Africa.
Rwandair, fly the dream of Africa.
Price, time, effort, and sacrifice that the customer can have, right? So most Chinese companies, particularly the ones we've studied, they have this idea of breaking the customer tension. In other words, they want to have a high performance, but a low cost proposition. So when you don't understand this, you say, well, they are too cheap. No, but depending on the market, what they produce gives you high performance at a low cost. And that is a very important mental model. You always have to try and break the customer's tension, because customers want value, customer value. And from the definition, from the perspective of the customer value means cost down, value up, or benefits up. So avoid feature creep. If you're a small firm, create products with the absolute number of features that are necessary for the customer to perform what he wants to do, rather than putting in unnecessary features because the technology is there to do. So break the tension by pursuing seemingly contradictory innovation objectives. That is, you get low cost and high performance. Model 7. Market saturation as an objective. You should have a market saturation as an objective to ensure that you have high percentage of value capture. One problem with a lot of big firms, and particularly Western firms, is that when they target a market, and this relates to the first mental model, they will go for the rich part, right? Make a lot of money. But then people will take the technology and produce copies for the low income part. And then they complain. Why? Because they are not, practicing the market saturation strategy. A small firm should always look at this. Of course, you can start from a high income bracket or whatever, but it should be your aim as you proceed as a company, you grow as a company, that you saturate the market. This is not something that is peculiar to the East. This is actually practiced by a lot of Western companies, but they don't call it this way. For example, if you look at a Mercedes-Benz, right? Mercedes almost has so many models at any price point or any target market segments. You can, if you want the Mercedes brand, you can get. Why doesn't Rolex and those people do that? Because they are fixated with a particular high segment market. And therefore you have all these copies going out where they capture value, which they themselves don't have. I did a case with, what's the company's name? Oh my God. I've forgotten. Maybe it will come. Where this company in China were having its products copied and all that. Instead of fighting them through the calls and through chasing them around, it decided to have an alliance with these companies so that it can improve their quality and actually use their raw materials to produce for the high-end market that it was producing, and it works well, right? So this is derived from mental model 1 and 2. So let's see what it mental model 8. Okay, now this is a controversial one, right? Very controversial. Everywhere I presented this, we have a lot to talk about. Now, one of the underlying competitive advantage of big firms is that we produce a technology and we patent it. And if you want to copy it or you steal it, we're going to take you to court. Right? Now, from the history of innovations, we know that the history of innovations is all about imitating and copying. And in fact, I read a piece, and this piece was given to me by a student in Germany. I didn't know about this article, but a student in Germany, when I presented a class to them and I was talking about copying is not stealing and explaining what copying means and all that, this student actually later on sent me this article and said, Professor, what you were talking about is actually what may be the reason why Germany became a superhouse, industrial powerhouse, right? And if you get a chance, please read the article. Germany banned copyright laws in the 19th century. You know, Britain introduced, 1710, Britain introduced copyright laws, right? And Germany, which was an agrarian economy, because they didn't have a copyright law, actually grew faster than Britain. At that time in Britain, they had, you know, books. Good books were chained in the library because they don't want the commoner to read them, right? And so Germany's expansion, industrial, may be due to the fact that they were better at not protecting their copyrights so that the knowledge could spread among people. And this article I wrote about copying and not stealing, copying actually means reverse engineering. And a lot of the firms that we studied, that is how they got the technology. Chonsa Motorcycles, Mindre, all these companies were distributors of appliances in their industry from Western companies. And they learned by actually fixing products for customers and all that. And all of a sudden, they know in and out of the technology and started doing their own thing. And that's how they developed, right? And now Chonsa Motorcycle actually supplies motorcycle to Italy, right? So if you know the history of innovation, you should not be scared about this issue, right? And the second thing is that, you know, throughout the history of innovation, it has been copied. Now, which country had the most penetrating technologies or innovations in the world? It was China, but it was all stolen by the West. Gunpowder, compass, this, you name it. It was all stolen by the West, right? And then perfected to actually, in a sense, later on come and conquer China with it, right? The same thing happens. You know, the Japanese, they copied everything the Americans had. The British actually, you know, the Americans were Britain, so they had the British technology there. You know, I read a book on imitation, from imitation to innovation by Korean firms, right? That's how they developed. Now, sometimes I make a joke and I say, you know, the problem with China is that they copied everybody, not just one country. You know, the idea here is that you should not reinvent the wheel, particularly if you have people dying. I just recently read that in South Africa, they've made a new COVID vaccine. Moderna didn't want to help, but they used the available knowledge around the world, you know, publicly available knowledge, and were able to do the same thing. Why shouldn't they? So I make this contentious statement, and that is, human innovations are copies and imitations of God's creation. That's nature. Think, where would we be if God had patented everything and enforced his rights? We will have nothing. So be humble and say, copying is not stealing, reverse engineer, look at the technology inside out, do your own thing, and prosper with it. 8. So copying is not stealing. That is the mental model 8. Model 9. If you want to practice these ideas as a leader, you must be ruthless and dramatic. You have to change the mind, not behavior, right? You have to change the mind of people. No, behavior is very difficult to change. So a lot of people may not go along with you. So you have to be ruthless and let people go. And these are 2 good examples of leaders in China that have changed their organizations to become strong leaders. In the case of Huawei, a lot of people in the West cannot compete. And so they say Huawei is a national security risk. That's the only way they can compete. Otherwise, no way, right? And they did that because they were ruthless and they were dramatic. For example, in Jiang Rumin's case, the drama was that when he bought this state-owned company, he actually called all the workers together, put all the stock of fridges that he had at that time, and hired some tough guys to smash these fridges into pieces. A practical demonstration, a dramatic demonstration that from now on we are in a new phase of the business. We're not going to behave like we did before. These products were no good. We have to start doing the better than that. And that was drama, right? So if you want to do this, you have to be dramatic and you have to be ruthless and get things done. So to make innovation happen, you need the discipline, you need the capacity, and you need delivery. And all these things require you to be dramatic and to be ruthless at the same time. Okay, let's go to the final one. Now, if you want to do all these things that we've taught from our understanding of how these firms were behaving, and remember, this is kind of a view of history, because at that time we studied these organizations. They were very small. For example, Mindre was set up in 1992, and we studied it from 1996 to 2005, when I wrote the best-selling case that we've had on Mindre, which is used across the world in universities, right? Titled Innovation in Mindre, Competing for Growth and something like that, right? So this is a historical view of these firms, because now they are not like that. They are big, big firms now, right? And one mental model they had was to define innovation very broadly, right? In the sense that they look at the outcomes, the process, and the culture. And this broad view applies not only to products and services, but to marketing, to distribution, customer experience. All of these aspects of the business can be innovated if you have the right process, the right culture, and the right definition of the outcomes. Thank you, and I invite your questions.
Yeah, Professor, thank you very much for unraveling how we think and how we think about innovation. Yes, open to questions. I have 2 questions for Professor, but before I share my questions, I'd like to give opportunity to our audience in-house. If you have a question, the microphone is going to be going around. Professor, one question to you. How soon can we have or get a copy of your presentation? I think there are people who would love to meditate and chew on the things that you have shared this afternoon.
Surely, yes. I will send a copy to Dr. Atuahene. By the way, I need to congratulate Dr. Atuahene for completing his doctorate.
Congratulations, Dr. Emmanuel. All right, so we will await that presentation, Professor. Thank you very much for availing that. Any other questions in-house? Yes, over here.
Thank you. I've liked among the last submissions when he said copying is not stealing. I hope everybody has heard. Please copy. Yes, it's very nice. Let's copy because it's not stealing.
Now, if you don't want to use the word, madam, if you don't want to use the word copying, just say creative imitation.
Okay, maybe, Professor, I wanted to find out, you talked about SMEs balancing the emotion and function of value. Would you care to explain maybe a practical way that SMEs can do this, balance out the emotion and function of value?
Okay. It all depends on which industry you are, right? And the idea simply is that we are trained, we are engineered as executives and as companies to really produce things that function, right? They do things. So for example, I don't know, you do a payment platform. You put a lot of features in there, a lot of technology in there, because your people are so technology oriented, they are skillful and all that. But you forget that when products get to that stage, they become complex, they become, foreboding, and therefore people actually kind of get scared in adopting it, right? So simplicity is very important. So the idea here is that if you develop something, look at the simpler side, get the functions and the technologies, the features that are absolutely necessary for performing the job that the customer wants. And on the other side, make sure that you create this emotional connection with your product by the design, by how we navigate the website, by how people speak on the website to you, by how you respond to things. In other words, the service side, right? So that the customer actually has a better feeling in interacting with you rather than having a complex website where everything is mumbo jumbo and the customer even feels scared doing that. Now, if you drive a Mercedes-Benz, you know what I mean, right? Or some really sophisticated cars, you know what I mean, right? These cars have become so sophisticated that sometimes you're scared in punching a key because you don't know what the hell will happen when you do that, right? And sometimes, something happens and then they'll be speaking to you, blah, 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 right? So, of course, you might say, okay, these are modern times. These things are very necessary. But on the other side, the emotional side of the customer becomes very difficult because the customer is actually scared in utilizing the features that you have. So that's a big firm issue, but it's the same idea to a small firm. I studied a company called Farm Crowdy in Nigeria. We wrote a case on it. It's an agricultural digital technology service, right? I think some of you probably know about it. And if you look at this firm, they have this mindset, right? Very simple website, very, very clear. Everything is clear because when you go there, you have this affinity. You actually want to interact with the website. No wonder everybody is copying them now in Nigeria and in other parts of Africa. So that's two practical examples for you.
Thank you, Professor, for that. Just a quick comment here. Someone is asking, can innovation be accelerated? We seem to have already lost much time as Africa. Can you respond to that in about a minute?
Yeah, you can accelerate it. We're not. In fact, the whole presentation that I've just delivered is actually to help you to actually be faster with your innovation, rather than trying to invest a lot of money to start to, get R&D people to develop new technologies and all that. When in actual fact, in the public domain, there are information out there that will allow you to actually do what you want to do effectively. Now, don't be scared in starting poor, right? That's the idea here. If you look at the first microwave produced by Galans in China, if you see it today, you probably throw it into the dustbin. But it was useful. Why? Because it allowed people to cook Chinese food. That is what they wanted to do. It wasn't sophisticated. It was poor, but it did the job, right? So the idea here is that as a small firm, what you need to do is not to develop the entire technology, because you can't. You can't be like these big firms. There's no way. So you have to look at the market closely and look and see, are there some target customers that are prepared to buy poor products, which people say is poor, right? But for them, it's good enough. In Africa, a lot of people buy second-hand clothing, right? Now, if everybody wants quality product, why do people buy second-hand clothing? Because that's what they can afford. So the same thing with every product. So in that sense, this talk that we just had is a way for you to think of accelerating your process, rather than being bogged down by, building capable technologies before you start.
All right. Thank you very much, Professor. We appreciate your time and your insights this afternoon. There's lots of comments commending you on your presentation. So if you do have a moment, please do get onto our chat and read some of the comments on there.
Monitor by Nation is your go-to website for exclusive content with in-depth stories, analysis, and detailed coverage. Sign up with these quick and easy steps. Visit www.monitor.co.ug. Sign up for free for a limited period of time with either Facebook or Google. Or you can enter your email address, password, followed by your phone number. Click Sign Up. You are now a registered user. Your privacy will be protected when you share information with us. This registration is part of our effort to understand our audiences and make better business decisions to serve you better. For any queries, please contact us on 0312 301 230 or email us at customercareug@ug.nationmedia.com. Monitor, powered by Nation. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to Nobel International Business School, NIBS.
Now at NIBS, it's very important you understand we have different kinds of programs. We have the PhD program, and we have the DBA program, and we have the DBL program. These programs are different and they serve different purposes, and it's very important for you to understand this when making a choice. The PhD, what's it about? Normally the PhD is called the academic doctorate degree. The bachelor's degree and the master's of science degree or the MBA has become a common commodity in our time. And so this alone should be a convincing factor when trying to make a choice.
My name is Honorable Dr. Eric Osei Owusu.
Esther Amwa.
Dr. Humphrey Kwesi Eyimdake.
My name is Reverend Dr. Mishadai Owusu Amwa.
Dr. Hani Sherry, IT.
NIBS is created for the business executives that can help them to continue a program hand in hand with business. So it's not going to diminish your business activities, it rather supports and enhances the quality of your business. So I strongly recommend.
Internet is not only important, but is part of us now. We use it in our studies, at work, home, and while going about our daily errands. However, an inconsistent internet connection is common and can be frustrating. But the good news is, we are here to the rescue. At Rock Telecom, we strive to promote integrity, dependability, innovation, customer service, and open-mindedness. Visit our website www.rocktelecom.co.ug for more information. Rock Telecom. Rock Telecom is licensed by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with Rwandair today. Rwandair, the safest airline in Africa.
Rwandair, fly the dream of Africa.
So we pick travelers, our typical customers are people flying in and out of the country. So we pick those from the airport to wherever they're going and back. And we do this through a network of driver partners for whom we give regular business and improve livelihoods. They can book through WhatsApp, they can call us, they can email us. We just try to make it as simple and convenient, as seamless as possible for our customers.
What is creating shared value all about? CSV is short for Creating Shared Value. It is a powerful business management concept that can promote companies to think differently about their approach to social and environmental issues. It is a strategy for addressing society's challenges through profitable business models. It's all about policies and practices that enhance the competitiveness of companies while improving social and environmental conditions in the regions in which they operate. CSV is not CSR. Creating shared value goes beyond philanthropy or corporate social responsibility. Shared value is not about personal values. It's not about sharing the value already created by firms. It is not CSI. It is not philanthropy or corporate social responsibility. Because in these cases, an organization's social contributions are not necessarily intrinsic to the bottom line. The concept of shared value recognizes that societal needs, not just conventional economic needs, define markets. It is also an important tool to align any business to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. The social challenges identified by the goals provide a blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. When businesses act as businesses, not as charitable donors, they can improve profitability while also improving key measures of societal well-being, environmental performance, public health and nutrition, affordable housing and financial security. Ultimately, it's all about weaving social need into the very fabric of business and creating both economic and societal value. Shared value is the most powerful practice that any company can use to achieve its purpose at scale. It increases company competitiveness and profitability by solving social problems. It helps to drive innovation by seeking opportunities for both business and society. And ultimately, it helps to create a sustainable future.
What is it about Africa? Some see struggle. We see opportunity. This is where we thrive. Africa is a land of contrasts. Hundreds of millions of our people live without access to clean water and electricity. Yet we have more entrepreneurs than any other continent, and by 2050, half of the world's youth will be African. Africa's been busy. We're urbanizing, embracing technology. We're sprinting forward with some of the fastest growing economies in the world. It's time for African-driven solutions to African problems. It's time to seize the moment and create our own narrative to build the Africa we want. Business has the power to bring about change at scale and make money doing so. The shared value business model reconnects business success with social progress. Shared value is also about partnerships, building business networks that create inclusive growth. The power of collaboration should never be underestimated. If we can bring together businesses and communities from across Africa with a shared purpose, we can build economic value and, most importantly, value for society. It's time for Africa to become the economic powerhouse of the future. Become part of Africa's most powerful shared value business network. Join the Shared Value Africa initiative today.